How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Good Chronic Convos. My name is Siphon, and I got an episode for you guys today. I got some videos, of course, curated for us by TikTok, and it's a pretty good one today. Anyways, as we always do on this channel, it's that time. Let's get our bongs, let's get our blunts, let's get our spliffs, let's get our vapes, let's grab our coffee, let's get our OJ, let's take this hit, and let's get into the show. So, as y'all know, I'm gonna go ahead and take my hit, and when I get back, we're gonna get right into these videos. And here I go. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's get right into these videos, and here we go.
Kanye knew Charlemagne was an industry plant all along. Listen.
They want to hear him talk, man. No, yeah. They want this man to
They
throw them
want.
blows, man. This is what they waiting for. They waiting for Charlemagne to tap these gloves and go at Ye.
I'm not
So
trying
let's
to throw
go.
blows, but this is what I want to
Let's go.
Like, to me, it seems like you're such a walking contradiction.
In a recent interview on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne and DJ Envy were asked this.
How was it when y'all got that visit from the next level?
What's the next level?
The people, man.
What's the next level?
When you ready, when your career is at that level, and then you get a visit to go to the next level.
You talking Illuminati.
I ain't say no names.
We ain't supposed to speak about that, Wallow.
Yeah, we don't speak about that.
Wallow, you know we ain't supposed to. That's why I'm sweating here now.
I ain't gonna say
that.
I ain't even gonna say that because I might
About that, Wallow.
I might get called in for that. I'm gonna just.
Did you see Charlemagne's reaction? They ain't allowed to talk about it, right? They was just joking though, right?
Honestly, I'm not a big Charlemagne fan. I know he's put out a couple of books and whatnot. I know that he has those podcasts that he does, but I mean, one of them is called Brilliant Idiots. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he really is just an idiot. And honestly, I don't really think that we should take too much of what he says too seriously. I think that he is not aware, and I just say I think, this is my opinion, I'm not 100% sure about it, but well, I think that he is a plant, and I think he's just honestly always full of shit, cause anyways, it's Charlemagne. What do you really expect from him? You guys let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. And on to the next video.
2023 just got even crazier. Again! Trust me, you're gonna want to favorite this video because this might have been the craziest week of 2023 so far. Alright, first up, the UK's being invaded again. First it was toxic plants, and now it's these fucking things. Giant hornets with toxic venom are confirmed to be here in the UK. And now yes, while it would take about 100 of them to send you straight to God, it will take just one sting to make you cry for your mummy. Yep, we're still in the UK for this one, as there's been 2 new human cases of bird flu. I can't be arsed! Now no, while this probably isn't going to be the next 2020, it still makes me uncomfortable. Oh, what the fuck? On some brighter news, the asteroid that could make everyone on Earth a billionaire is to be explored this year. Essentially, it's filled with precious metals and is worth $10,000 quintillion. Do you know how much money that is? No, me neither. Money! It's called Psyche 16, and, anyone want to buy a spaceship? No, that's not the right filter. And finally, it wouldn't be an episode of this without some alien news. Essentially, a mysterious stellar object is emitting a 5-minute pulse every 22 minutes. And NASA are like, listen, I had a fucking clue. Some people believe ET is trying to contact Earth. Send it to literally anyone you know because they need to know what's happened. Elon!
those last two videos about the asteroid that's worth 10,000 quintillion dollars. Who the fuck came up with that number? How did you even assess that this rock has that amount of worth of minerals on it? I mean, how honestly, I don't even believe that we've even been to space in the first place. So this is all just nonsense Gaza Strip for me. Like, this is booty. Holy. Anyways, yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and on to the next video.
You've got to watch this whole video to believe it and to understand it. If you're in America and you don't understand what's going on in Africa, get ready to see what the mainstream media isn't showing you. But we are. Dear God, please protect me. What's gotten into Africa? I'll tell you what's gotten into Africa. A lot of God and a lot of power. Africa has just issued strict anti-gay laws, and they have receipts for why they did it. They're backed, first of all, by God and his laws. Next, by the CDC and medical. Next, by psychological data, and also by the laws of nature and science, which all lines up with their constitutional values and laws, henceforth 100% unanimous decision, all Parliament 275 members in favor of keeping the LGBTQXYZ agenda out of their country. Are you ready to hear the front-running argument of Sam George of Ghana as he tears apart any legitimate reasoning?
Just before we get into that video, every time I hear LGBT whatever, every time I hear it, all that comes to my mind is LGHDTV. LGHDTV. That's really all that comes to my mind every time I hear it. Anyways, that was just my little 2 cents. Here we go.
For allowing this new religion, LGBTQ, to infiltrate this African country. This is epic. Subscribe and like for more, and you guys gotta watch this clip bit by bit. Sam George here in Africa, in Ghana, on the new laws and why. What say you? Let me know in the comments. Just grab a drink and a snack while we watch this one together.
Mr. Speaker, my submission would anchor on 4 legs: traditional, scientific, legal, and religious. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is a culturally rich nation. We have 70 ethnic groups and 80 languages. We have 242 traditional areas that are recognized by the National House of Chiefs. Mr. Speaker, we throw an open challenge to proponents outside of this house, since there's no proponents in this house, of LGBTQ rights, to show us one Ghanaian traditional language or one Ghanaian traditional area that accepts and supports homosexuality. Language is an identifier of an ethnic group. And when you take all the 70 Ghanaian languages, over 70 Ghanaian languages, each one of them has words for things that are natural to the people. Things that are alien, they don't have words for them, they have descriptions for them. So when people say that the white man brought us Christianity, for example, it's incorrect, because when you take our local languages, we have names for the supreme being and names for lesser deities. In Akan, we have Odumankuma Nyankupon, who is the supreme being, who the Hebrews call Yahweh. Or in Ga, we have Atan Anyumo. So God is not a new construct to our language. But when you take things like computer, which are new things to our language, we call it Abefo Efidie Enchi. It's a description. When you take telephone, we call it Ahuma Trufu or something, a description. And when you take homosexuals, we call them Kojo Besia, Kojo Aoya Ninyama Tise Besia. It is a description, simply because it is alien to our language. And so when it comes to tradition and our culture, these are alien to our culture. Mr. Speaker, in the West, their culture seems to prohibit polygamy and support this. People think it's a cultural thing. It's actually not a cultural thing for the West. It's a financial decision. And let's put it to the Western world, that because of their tax system, That is why they frown on polygamy, not because of culture. Because when you are a single man in the West, you pay a higher tax. Once you get married to your spouse, your household tax reduces your individual tax liability. So then imagine if they allowed one man to have 4 wives. He will pay less tax to their exchequer. It is about money for the West. That is why they have criminalized polygamy. It's not about culture. And so they should not follow money and ask us to accept something that is culturally reprehensible. Mr. Speaker, let me go to the legal part. Our constitution has been dealt with, but when you read the report, those who argue against this bill say that Ghana is a signatory to international rights, the conventions and treaties. Very true. But Mr. Speaker, what they fail to do is they think that all of us don't read, but some of us do read. And Mr. Speaker, all the conventions that they have quoted in their memos to the committee, we would establish the fallacy of their position. Mr. Speaker, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights in Article 17 says this: every individual shall have the right to education. 17.2, every individual may freely take part in the cultural life of his community. But 17.3 says, the promotion and protection of morals and traditional values recognized by the community shall be the duty of the state. This is the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. So it says the promotion of morals and traditional values. So what morals are we talking about? What traditional values are we talking about? This is the convention Ghana has signed up to. And so this bill is in line with that convention. In fact, Article 18 of the same African Charter says the family shall be the natural unit and basis of society. It shall be protected by the state, which shall take care of its fiscal health and morals. The state shall have the duty to assist the family, which is the custodian of morals and traditional values recognized by the community. So if we say the family, what is the family? Is it a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, or a man and a woman with their children? We have our traditional values. Mr. Speaker, they always make reference to the UN Declaration on Human Rights. The UN Declaration on Human Rights in Article 2, I read, it says everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without distinction of any kind. And these are the distinctions it makes: race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth or other status. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear in this hallowed chamber that there is a clear distinction between sex and gender. Complete distinction. Sex is a biological construct. Gender is a social construct. Sex is binary, male or female. It is the source code for even computer science, 0 and 1. To be a male, you have the XY chromosome. To be a female, you have the XX chromosome. There is no other combination known to science. However, gender is a social construct. That is why in some countries, as we speak today, they have 48 gender identities. In some, they have 100. So gender is a social construct. In this country, our social construct of gender is male and female, as our constitution demands and recognizes. So, Mr. Speaker, even the UN Declaration on Human Rights does not make gender the basis for discrimination or enjoyment of rights. It says sex. And once it is sex, it is male and female. So if you change your sex as assigned at birth, cosmetically or surgically, you are flouting the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, in Article 18.3, again another international convention they quote, it says the freedom to manifest one's religion or beliefs may be subject only to such limitations as are prescribed by law and are necessary to protect, here is the cause, public safety, public order, public health, or morals or the fundamental rights and freedoms of others. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the Ghana AIDS Commission's own data, men having sex with men are a prevalent cause of the increase in HIV/AIDS in our country. So we have a duty to protect public morals and a duty to protect public health, because the consequence of an increasing HIV prevalence is on the taxpayer. Mr. Speaker, even when you go to the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control in the US, the statistics are clear that persons who are heterosexuals, the effect on their mental health Heterosexuals are 2.3% likely to contemplate suicide. Gays and lesbians are twice that, 4.6%. Bisexuals are almost 3 times that, 7.4%. As for transgenders, 30.8%. Mr. Speaker, the fact is clear. And Honorable Muntaka, in his submission, the Honorable Member for Asawasi, referred to homosexuality as madness. Mr. Speaker, he was speaking science. Because until 19...
That's the end of that video, but every time this guy said Mr. Speaker, every time he said Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I just knew. I just knew. It was about to give the speakers some facts, some bombs. And this was interesting because they just did pass their anti-gay laws in Ghana. So you guys tell me what you guys think about this in the comments down below. And on to the next video.
Alarming new study on boxed macaroni and cheese. Researchers say they found chemicals called phthalates in all but one of the 30 products tested. They say phthalates can migrate into food when it's being processed or from packaging. Powdered cheese is a prime target because the chemicals bind with fat.
So it seems the people are finally stepping up to Kraft and other powdered cheese boxed macaroni. Doctors and experts claim the powder cheese pack contain concentrations of the chemicals known as phthalates. Sadly, phthalates can be found in our everyday items: plastics, toys, soap, shampoos, glues, vinyl, etc. Now in the food, mac and cheese, our kids' favorite. Not only does phthalates cause birth defects, studies find it can increase cancer risk in kids and harm brain development.
Doctors say the chemical can disrupt hormones and affect brain development. Alarming news.
Well, I'm very glad that I've never really been a fan of the mac and cheese or, boxed macaroni, powdered cheese type dinners or meals. Yeah. What the heck is why is it that it's always things that are ridiculously spelt and crazy to pronounce, like phthalates. The heck is a phthalate? Anyways, you guys tell me what you guys think about this. Were you guys eating boxed macaroni and cheese as kids? Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below. On to the next one.
Breaking news. America accidentally leaked millions of sensitive military information to Mali recently.
A typing error has reportedly routed millions of US military emails to Mali. The problem was simulated or stimulated by entering .ml instead of .mil. And data containing diplomatic documents, tax returns, and passwords were exposed in a minute. The data leak was exposed by a Dutch contractor. The contractor, managing Mali's domain, has tried to warn the US over the same issue several times in the past, but there seems to be no rectification. The exposed data includes internal complaints, travel plans of officials, maps and photos of installations, and crew lists. As per the Pentagon, measures are being taken to analyze this issue, and all information related to national security is taken very seriously. The risk is definitely real, and the data can be exploited by the foe.
Another leak. And apparently this happens quite often with Mali and the United States, and Mali's tried to warn or give warning to the United States about this. I mean, at this point, like, the United States just look like dumbasses, complete and utter dumbasses. Those that are in charge of running all this shit, they just look like real idiot. Anyways, you tell me what you guys think of this in the comments down below. And on to the next one.
Now, I'm not saying that we've never been to space, And I'm not saying that we've never been to the moon, but I've got a question that I hope you can answer. Why is it that when we look into space, we only see the same stars? I mean, every night, no matter what night, it could be Christmas, it could be your birthday, but anytime we look into space, we see the same stars. Now you see, the problem is this. They tell us that we're spinning through the air at 1,000,000 miles per hour. We should be traveling past different planets, different stars, different constellations. Even the moon is in the same place. Every day, every month, every year. The same thing. So maybe I don't understand science, or maybe I'm just a critical thinker. But when I say something don't make sense, I mean something don't make sense. Now I'm not...
And I agree with you, Bully. Something doesn't make sense at all. 'Cause you're right. How are we not passing different planets, different constellations, different suns, different... Like, if we're moving through space at the speed that we're moving through it, and... like, we should be seeing different shit, right? But... this is what they explain. This is how they explain it. They say that everything is moving all in the same direction, all at the same or roughly the same speed as each other in that direction. So we would always be seeing the same constellations and stars and blah blah blah, which to me personally, that sounds like a load of complete horse shit. Complete horse shit. Because how is that even the case? How has that even been... who's tested that theory, that hypothesis? What, because you look through a microscope or a telescope, sorry, and you think that you're seeing something move? How do you know it's not just the way that the light is bending through the lens, causing you to think that something is moving whilst, hey, really? It ain't moving. Anyways, you guys tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. I already told y'all I don't think that we've been to space, and Mr. Bully here, the Bully Slayer, seems like he's on the same page. So, you tell us. What do you guys think in the comments down below? Have we been to space? Explain this. On to the next one.
Dave Chappelle was decapitated in front of us. They called him Pilot Boy because he had 19 pilots in Hollywood and everybody passed on him and said his show wasn't worth it. Then when he made $500 million, they said even though his contract said he should get half of it, they said he made too much for the contract to be valid, so we'll offer you 10% of what you made. You mean he made $500 million and they offered him 50? Yes. And he said, what do you think my fans are gonna say when they find out you offered me 10% of what I made you? And they said, your fans will believe that you're a crazy crackhead by the time you get home. He got on a flight in LA, and by the time he got to Ohio, it was so. Dave Chappelle was decapitated.
Yep, that is exactly what happened. And what's crazy is that I was living in East Africa when this happened, and I remember when I was in Tanzania, and basically he was popular in Tanzania, and his show had like literally just come out just a couple years before, and people were going to internet cafes to watch it, and people were downloading it and whatnot. So I remember how big that show got, and then all of a sudden he's just gone. There's no more Chappelle's show. There's no more, like, everything is gone. And then, you know, you come to hear, you know, you do some research, whatever, and there's all these things. Oh, he got addicted to crack and this and that, and it's like, what? Did they really just say that he got addicted to crack after all the crackhead skits that he did, and he showed? So what? So that is the proof that he's a crackhead because he did those skits? Anyways, they owe this man a lot of money. They're probably never gonna give it to him. And when he, like, there's even that line in J. Cole, in one of J. Cole's song, where he asks, I think it's called Runaway, where he asks, could you walk away from 50 million like Dave Chappelle did? And basically, a lot of people probably wouldn't, because that's 50 million still. But 50 million when you're supposed to get 250 because you basically made half a billion. Hey, man, these guys are crooked. These guys are corrupt. Anyways, on to the next video.
I'm sorry, what do you mean scientists just created the Matrix? What? Yeah, you're gonna want to favorite this video because this is gonna make you question everything you've ever known ever. Yeah, I'm actually not kidding. Scientists have a brain living in a Matrix-type simulated world in Australia. Why is it always Australia? Over the past couple of years, this team of scientists in Australia have been successful in placing human brain cells in a simulated world, teaching them how to play the 1970s video game Pong. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm getting ahead of myself, but this is not going to fucking end well. However, of everything, this is the sentence that scares me the most. The brain cells learned how to make their world more predictable by acting upon it. Their worlds! On top of all this, they've been given a nearly $1 million grant to keep going. But my question's this, and get ready for your brain to go if we're creating a matrix for human brain cells, what's not to say that someone else or something else has already created a matrix for us? Now enjoy your sleep.
All this simulation talk, all this talk about we're in a simulation, or, you know, we're part of a simulation, and then scientists in Australia go ahead and do this shit. A cycle is a cycle is a cycle. So, hey, you tell me what you guys think down in the comments below, and let me know if you really think we're in a simulation, or if this reality is just as messed up as it seems. And are you are you blue pill or are you red pill when it comes to this reality? Let me know.
White people, watch this video and I'll be right back.
He published a book called Race, Tendencies, and Traits of the American Negro, in which he lays out all the numbers, and then he concludes that if we simply avoided allowing black people to have any access to health care, that within 2 or 3 generations, the whole race would die out, and that would solve the race problem in America. When Teddy Roosevelt, 1912, proposed a national health care system, people said no because black people will get it. When Franklin Roosevelt proposed a national health care system, it was the same thing. We don't want black people to get it. When Truman tried it in 1947, same thing. Don't want black people to get it. We have to figure out a way to keep black people from using Medicare. And the way that they came up with was to have a 20% hole, a gap in Medicare, so that you had to pay 20% of your doctor's bill and your hospital bill, and that would discourage poor black people from showing up at the hospitals. Nearly 100% of the reason why the United States is the only country in the world that doesn't define healthcare as a right is because of racism. He published a book called Race, Tendencies, and Traits of the American Negro.
How many times do I have to say this? Racism is a detriment to you white folks, poor white folks especially. Because of racism, you, poor white folks, can't even get good health care because they thought if they could deny health care to black people that we would have been eradicated a long time ago. But hey, we still here and they have not changed the rules. How crazy is that? Even with Social Security, you have to pay 20% because of racism. We keep telling you, BIPOC keep telling you, black people keep telling you, it is not us that makes your life suck. It is those racist politicians and their racist legislation that they think that's going to harm us, but harms you at the same time. And they don't care if it harms you. They don't give a shit. And then you continue to vote against your own interests. All because a bunch of rich white people told y'all to hate black people because black people are doing stuff to you as a whole. And we're not, because we don't control shit. We don't control the healthcare system. We don't control Social Security. We don't control your wages. We don't control shit. But they continue to tell you that it's us. So you turn your focus on us and harass the shit out of us for no fucking reason. When we have no power to affect your life as a whole community. Pay attention.
That brings up a lot, but I agree with this. And what she says, it's like there's this whole conversation or notion of black people being able to be racist or being able to have or being able to be racist against any other races here in the world. It's like, where, in what world, where are we ever able to control anything? Where do we have control of anything? Where is it that any black people have any actual power? Like, we're only seeing it now where Africa is fighting back to gain back its economic control. And even then, the powers that be are continuing to want to quash and send troops literally into Africa to fight to protect their Western interests. We're seeing that with France. And then you're going to tell me that black people have black people can be racist? Under what pretense? Under what? What power do black people have over anything? But black people don't even control their own music when it comes to this whole hip-hop stuff. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about that black people can be racist? Prejudiced, I can agree with that. But racist, I could never agree with that. I could never see that. And I don't ever see that. And you know why? Because there's absolutely no way black people have of making your lives miserable the way y'all have made ours miserable. Anyways, that's it for tonight, guys. Peace. And thanks for tuning in to Good Chronic Convos.